let's take up our contested matter. Are you Cheryl Cook?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
And are you Jacqueline Overweg?
I am.
All right, very good. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief? Is that correct? All right. Ms. Cook, you filed a claim for $2,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say back to the original complaint. There's a bunch of service papers in here. I got scammed into buying a van that was a limit. Tell me about that.
Well, I met Ms. Overweg in 2018. I made an error on that. We had been speaking with one another over the summers, 2 summers in a row. And she would often bring up the fact that she was wanting to purchase a different vehicle. And she knew I had a licensed daycare. I had my own car. I had a Sebring convertible, so I didn't really need a vehicle, but I wanted a minivan for my kids, you know, to take them on little excursions and that. So I kind of wanted to help her to get the vehicle she wanted, and thinking that, you know, maybe if this van would work out for me, which it did not. She told a lot of untruths about the whole situation. Tried to deter me from getting it to a mechanic. Once I finally was able to have it looked at, it was so rusted out underneath that the guy was scared that he even had it on a hoist. And she knew that I was going to be using this for my daycare. I was going to be putting other people's children in this vehicle. I don't even know why she attempted to sell it to me, because there's no way it would have worked for my needs.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did she give you a warranty?
No, there was no contract like she said, and nothing like that. It was just a conversation over the phone. First thing she did was send me these really nice pictures of the inside of it. I wasn't really concerned about the inside of it. I wanted to know that it was, you know, reliable chassis wise.
Well,
And
the general rule is the buyer beware. What was the purchase price of this?
she wanted $2,800 for it, which was way over Blue Book price, which I didn't even, you know, I thought I could trust her. I thought she was a friend. So I didn't really think.
Well, how much did you pay for it?
I gave her $2,000. And then once I got the vehicle and drove it, I realized that that it was a bad vehicle.
Yeah, it was a bad deal.
It was a bad vehicle.
All right, well, you didn't get it looked at first. When you buy a used car from someone, there is no warranty. You're buying it as is. So you say you got scammed. You bought a car, you did not take anybody to have it looked at.
She wouldn't
And
let
then
me,
after you
Your Honor.
got it, you found that it was not what you'd hoped it was. You're paying $2,000. What make and model is this van?
It was a 2003 Montana. They didn't even make them anymore. She told me it was a 2010, I believe. She lied to me. I have a whole list of lies that she told me.
All right, well, it's a 2003 Montana, so it's almost 20 years old.
Right, I'm not
It's a
that stupid. I
Pontiac.
would
They
not
don't
have-
make them anymore.
I
You
would not
paid
have-
2,000. Stop. We're in a court proceeding. And you don't talk when I'm talking. You can't both talk at the same time. You don't interrupt the judge. You got a bad deal. You bought this car, nobody put a gun to your head. You paid her $2,000 for a 20-year-old van. And surprise, surprise, there's problems with it. So after you bought it, you took it to have somebody look at it, and then you sent me a bag of rust. So thank you for that. Ms. Overweg, what's your position?
My position is I was purchasing a vehicle. I no longer was driving the van. It was for sale in front of my parents' home. Because I was driving a different vehicle, she noticed that when I was at the lake. I told her my van was for sale. She had to, at 2 separate times, go to my parents and drive the vehicle. My dad was handling that for me. She, to my knowledge, had Mr., I think his name was Doc, went with her to drive it. I do not know if she took it somewhere when she drove it on her test drive. I didn't ask. I was not willing to hold the vehicle. I'm sorry she feels pressured, but it was a asking price of $2,800. She offered the $2,800, paid me $2,000. I was
I lost your sound. Miss Overweg? Cheryl, can you hear her?
No, I cannot, and she's lying already.
All right, we lost your sound.
mine.
Yes, all right.
I'm
So
gonna try to-
you wanted $2,800. She offered $2,800 and you said she paid $2,000.
And we signed a paper saying that she would pay me the other 400 in 2 increments, which she sent to the court, and I have a copy of, and I believe you have a copy of. During that time, she had the vehicle for well over 10 days. She dropped it off locked in front of our pole barn. My husband's a farmer. This was during harvest season. We contacted a tow truck to move it. They did not recommend it because if they towed it and put it in a lot, if she had not put the title in her name, those fees would have occurred in my name. So we
All right, so
filed, which
let's take a look at the title.
you have a paper and it's that she sent you because they sent it to me. It states what I would do if she didn't come pick her vehicle up. I was going to file after 10 days for a lost title. I did that. I was going to have keys made so we could move the vehicle. I did that. I was going to charge her for every day it sat on my property until she came and picked up her vehicle. It sat there for 30 more days. Then my parents insured it and drove it. There was nothing wrong with the vehicle. I did not imply it was a 2011. It was a 2003. The van was not even made after 2004. So I'm sorry she feels.
All right, so let me stop you. So you have the van back and it's now titled in your name?
Well, she left. She fails to tell you that she dropped it off.
Okay,
Locked.
you told me, but you have it back now?
No. I no longer have the vehicle. No.
Well, where is it?
We took it to the scrapyard a year and a half later. I have never sold anything personally. I have never purchased anything personally. This was the worst experience for me.
All right,
Maybe for
so
my husband. And I feel like I told her I was going to do when.
all right, so wait a minute. This
left
was, I wasn't clear on these dates. So this was sold in 2019?
12, 19. Yes, date of sale. Yes.
What is the date of sale? It's not in her complaint.
I believe, because I'm looking at the title, but I don't, I just have the copy. I believe it was 9/23/19. And it was in October when she delivered the vehicle
Okay,
back.
all right, Ms. Cook, do you agree with that the sale was in September of 19?
I gave her the first $1,500 on the 24th. The very first time I even talked to her and considered it over the phone was the 23rd, when she sent me the pictures of the interior. We met.
Okay, hold it. So you agree that September 23rd or 24th, you gave her 1,500 and then you gave her 500 and then supposed to pay 2 more. Then did you take the van back and just dump it at her house?
I parked it in the parking lot behind her house. I finally got to take it to the mechanic because she coordinated this all when she knew I was going out of town for a class reunion. And
I did not do that.
Stop. All right, I'm still troubled by the fact that you when you buy a used car, you buy it as is. And there's no warranty. This is a 20-year-old car. You didn't take it to anywhere to have it looked at until after you bought it. But
No,
you
I
two
was
didn't
trying.
transfer the title. You gave her a title. You never registered. Did you ever register the title in your name?
No, once I was able to get home from the class reunion and take it to be looked at, which she deterred me from doing before I had to go out of town.
That's not true.
All
Yes,
right,
it
well,
is
stop.
true.
The same thing for you. So what? You didn't do it. So if she deterred you or not, you had an opportunity to do it. You had a couple of times to drive it. Both of you are in the wrong here. You sold this car without properly transferring the title. Then she gave it back to you 2 years later,
No, not
So-
2 years later. 7 days later.
all right, you returned it 7 days later. You
You
filed a
said-
lawsuit 2 years later.
3 years later. I
All right.
tried to get her.
All right, well, why did you wait 3 years to file the lawsuit?
First COVID hit right after the courts were closed. I was hoping she'd do the right thing and an attempt to give me some of my money back, because she said that in her last text that she was gonna sell it and start giving me some of my money back. And then, I tried to give her a chance to do the right thing, and she chose not to. I tried to get her to go to mediation to discuss this so we could keep it out of the court system. She wouldn't do that either. She's been lying to me the whole time. She lied to me about the year of the car, the mileage on the car. I have a
mileage
whole
is on
list of
the
things
speedometer.
that she's
Miss
lying
the
about.
odometer.
Miss Overweg, I'll give you a chance to speak, but this is her turn. All right. You bought this 20-year-old, well, at that time, 17-year-old vehicle that they don't make anymore. You neglected to take it anywhere to have it looked at when you went out on your test drives. And only after you got it, stop, did you have buyer's remorse. So you never transferred the title into your name. You took it back and gave it back to her. And then she got another title and scrapped it. So she has $2,000 of your money and you don't have a van. So how is that fair, Miss Overweg?
Well, it wasn't scrapped immediately. It was over a year and a half later. I sent her a letter. I consulted with an attorney, and the letter stated that she needed to come pick up her vehicle. If she had 10 days to pick it up, and then I was going to file for a lost title. We had to move the van. She didn't just drop it off. She parked it against the barn doors locked. We couldn't get our equipment out for harvest season until this van.
Lying.
I'm sorry?
You're lying.
Ms.
That's
Cook,
not true.
I'm gonna give you 1 penny. If you don't be quiet. You don't know how to behave yourself in a courtroom. We're not sitting around the kitchen table. This is a trial. You don't see lawyers shouting at each other. This isn't the Jerry Springer show. It's a courtroom. And so I gave you the courtesy of letting you talk. And so now it's her turn. Anyway, she gave you $2,000. She has no van. You got it back. You got the title in your name. You had the use of it for a year and a half. And how is that fair to her?
That's not, we didn't drive it for a year and a half. It was sitting there and animals were getting up in it. And the mechanic down the road said, if you don't drive it, you're going to have nests in there. So at that moment is when my parents insured it and drove it. I was happy for her to come get her vehicle back. I didn't have the means to give her her money back. I used that money to purchase another vehicle. My fault too, I've never sold anything. But when she left it there and I properly stated to her to please come get her vehicle, because we didn't even have keys. It was locked. She locked it in front of a barn door.
So she didn't put the keys in it?
No, we had to have keys. I had to have keys made for it. That in itself, my husband had to take 3 hours off from work. He had to pay for the keys, pay for the lost title, and then they had to reprogram it all so the keys would work. So it's not like we just got a key for it. I have the $800 that I was.
Let me stop you for a minute. What's up with that, Miss Cook? She says you purposely parked it right against her barn door and didn't leave any keys.
That is not true. That's why I'm trying to speak up, and I never got to test drive the car either because of her. And I have the keys here. All she had to do was, you know, discuss everything with me. She could have come and got the keys. I didn't want to leave the van sitting there with unlocked, wide open with keys in it. I really didn't know what to do. Once I found out that it was completely rusted out underneath, I took it directly back to her house from the mechanic and I parked it and I locked it.
Well, that's not how it works. You bought it without a warranty and you did a poor job of selling it. The way to do it is to meet at the Secretary of State's office and have the title transferred right then. So neither one of you were exactly doing this very well. But yeah, you made a deal. It was a bad deal. And then you wanted to get out of it. So you went back and dropped it off in front of her barn doors with no keys. And then you guys didn't have the wherewithal to speak to each other. You're going to share this equally.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I do have expenses that occurred from that. Is that going to be added into what we're sharing equally?
No, you didn't file a counterclaim against her.
Okay.
The total here.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I have expenses as well because she was hiding from the server.
Say that again.
She was hiding out from the server. When the server went to their house, the husband said that they were divorced and he didn't want anything to do with her. Now she's saying the husband has cancer. Is that
Do
allowed?
not bring his health up.
Here
He is
now,
very
so,
ill. It has nothing to do with this. You don't speak of his health.
I'm just saying, you've been lying all along. I wouldn't put
well,
it
all
past.
right. We're in where we're in. You're each gonna cost $1,000. I fined for Miss Cook in the amount of $1,000. This was a bad deal you got into together, and neither one of you did a very good job of it. So I'm splitting the difference. She doesn't have the vehicle. You got the vehicle and got rid of it. But she purchased it without a warranty and took it back without keys and said, here, it's yours. The title wasn't transferred. It's a big mess. And you're both in it equally. I fined for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. Court costs are $63.65 in filing fee and a lot of money in service fees, $122.59, because they had difficulty serving her. She is here. Miss Cook, if you buy a vehicle again, either buy it from a dealer, get a warranty, or have it looked at before you hand over the money. Miss Overweg, if you sell a vehicle, go to the Secretary of State's office and transfer the title. And then this happens all the time. They sell it, they don't transfer the title, the vehicle gets towed, the title owner gets a tow bill. It's a mess. Anyway, you're out $1,000, Miss Cook. Miss Overweg, you owe her $1,000 plus costs.
Thank
I'll
you.
send you each a copy of that judgment. I fined for the plaintiff, Cheryl Cook, in the amount of $1,000, $1,186.24 if you include the costs. All right, you're good to go.